Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
It's me shaking. It's a dance. The shake is a dance. What's a dance? Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Know Your Verbs. My name is Alicia, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the verb shake. Let's get started. The basic definition of the verb shake is to move up and down in quick, short movements. Some examples. Shake the ingredients together in a bag. She confidently shook his hand. So now let's take a look at the conjugations for this verb. Present, shake, shakes. Past, shook. Past participle, shaken. Progressive, shaking. So now let's talk about some additional meanings for the verb shake. The first additional meaning is to move around because of physical or emotional disturbance. Some examples. The buildings shook in the earthquake. His voice shook as he told the sad story. In these example sentences, we see that there's some kind of disturbance that's happening. So in the first one, it's a physical disturbance. So the buildings shook in the earthquake. There was some physical disturbance and the buildings shook. So meaning the buildings moved like side to side or maybe up and down. So this motion we refer to as shaking because of some kind of disturbance. In the second example sentence, though, it's someone's voice. So a person's voice shook. His voice shook when he told the sad story. So in this case, it's not like physical motion, but it's like the voice sounds unsteady. So this is related to an emotional disturbance. So it's a sad story. He feels emotional, so his voice is shaking. It's like you're struggling not to cry, or you're struggling to hold back emotions. Like you can hear a person's voice change when they're trying to hold in to not release kind of strong emotions. So we refer to that as like a shaky voice, to use the adjective form. But we can also use a verb, shook in this case, past tense. His voice shook when he told the sad story. The second additional meaning for the verb shake is to get away from something or to become free from something. Some examples. I can't shake the feeling I'm being watched. She finally shook her habit of snacking. So in these example sentences, we see that shake is being used to refer to getting free of something, to shake something. So in the first example sentence, we see a common expression, I can't shake the feeling. So I can't shake the feeling means I can't get free. I can't escape from this feeling that I have. In this case, I can't shake the feeling I'm being watched. That means I feel always like someone is watching me. So probably not a good feeling. I can't shake the feeling. Or like I can't shake the feeling that this was the wrong thing to do. So some kind of feeling you can't escape from. We could say, I can't shake the feeling. In the second example sentence, we see shake used to talk about a bad habit. So the example is, she finally shook her habit of snacking, or we could say her bad habit of snacking. So to shake a habit means to escape from or to be free from a bad habit, some negative thing that you don't want to do anymore. You might have heard this meaning applied in that song from Taylor Swift where she says, shake it off. She repeats the expression, shake it off, where shake it off is like negativity. Shake it off there means just let it go, like break free from it, escape from that negative feeling. So to shake something off is just to let it go, shake it off. So imagine like it's like dust on your body and you just make a shaking motion and it comes off. Like you're free, you're escaping from that negativity. That's the kind of image that she's trying to suggest in that song, to shake it off. The next additional meaning for the verb shake is to upset someone. So to upset means like to cause their emotional stability to be disturbed. So this can mean to cause someone to be angry or to be sad, to be disappointed, usually angry or sad though. Let's take a look at some examples. The awful story really shook me. He was shaken by the sudden changes at work. So in both of these example sentences, shake is being used to refer to a feeling of like unhappiness, of anger, of sadness, some kind of change from regular emotional stability. In the first example sentence, the awful story really shook me. It means like that story was so awful that it affected me, it upset me emotionally. So like I felt really sad, or I felt really angry, or maybe unhappy in some way. So to feel shook by a story is like something really affected you, or like strongly affected you. So you feel quite upset. It's not just like a common, oh, I feel sad or something. It's more like a strong kind of deeper feeling. Whoa, that shook me. In the second, what was the second one? He was shaken by the sudden changes at work. Okay. In the second example sentence, he was shaken by the sudden changes at work. It means sudden changes at his job caused him to feel very upset. So all these new things happened and he felt like really surprised or really unhappy or really stressed out. So they upset him from his regular like emotional stability. He was shaken. He was shaken. So we can use that to refer to a strong emotional disturbance. The fourth additional meaning is to decrease stability, to decrease stability. This is slightly different from the third meaning, which was to upset someone. This one is specifically about decreasing stability. So it can mean in like some kind of belief, or it can mean in an organization. Let's look at some examples. The bad news shook her confidence. This is a scandal that could shake the entire government. So in the first example sentence, the bad news shook her confidence. So here it's not just her, but what is being upset? What is decreasing in stability here? Her confidence. So maybe the other parts of her personality are fine, but confidence is affected in this case. So the bad news shook, the bad news decreased the stability of her confidence. So in other words, her confidence kind of decreased. She didn't feel so confident after hearing the bad news. In the second example sentence, the scandal could shake the government. It means this scandal is probably so big that it could decrease the stability in the government. So that means something really terrible happened. And because of that, the government's like regular functions or the government's regular ways of doing things might not continue. So it's decreased stability. That's the nuance of this use of shake. One more small point about this one is that this is sometimes used with up. So like in the second example sentence, this scandal could shake up the entire government. Like to shake up something is like to kind of change a known idea. Like we thought we knew everything before, but this new information has shaken everything up, has shaken up the government. Like, oh, it's caused some changes. So like we lost some stability. This could be a good thing, though, like to shake up a scientific field, for example. Like maybe some new discovery shakes up a scientific field. But in that moment of like discovery, or like in my second example of like a scandal, in that moment, maybe stability decreases, but it could lead to something positive in the future. So you really have to pay attention to the situation to understand, is this a positive thing or a negative thing? The first variation is to shake one's head. To shake one's head is this motion. It's this side-to-side motion that means you disapprove. It means no, generally. So let's look at some examples of this. He shook his head when I asked if he was okay. Don't shake your head at me. So to shake your head just means to say no. Like you don't have to say anything. You can use this motion to mean no, or to show just disapproval, to show like rejection of something. So in the first example sentence, he shook his head when I asked if he was okay, means he did not say anything, but he shook his head. He made this motion, meaning no. I asked, are you okay? And his response was this, meaning no. So we use that to talk about that action. In the second example sentence, it's a command. So don't shake your head at me. Maybe a mother would say this to her child, or a father might say this to his child. Like a child shaking their head like this, like, I don't want to do that, or rejecting something their parent said. The parent might say, don't shake your head at me. So meaning, don't say no to me. So the next variation, I put these two together because they're very similar. They are to shake loose or to shake something out. So these expressions mean to use a shaking motion to remove something. So to shake loose or to shake something out. Let's look at some examples. She shook her bag loose from the hook. Shake the dirt out of the rug. So in the first example sentence, she shook her bag loose from the hook. It's like her bag is attached to a hook. So a hook is like this sort of thing. You hang your bag here. If the bag is stuck, maybe, or there's some problem, or I don't know, you can't reach it easily. In this case, she shook her bag, meaning she made this shaking motion to remove her bag from the hook. So she shook her bag loose. We use loose to talk about that. But you can use this expression if there's some, like, I don't know, maybe you go to buy candy from a vending machine and it gets stuck when you buy the thing. So you might shake it, you might shake your candy loose from the vending machine in that case too. So to shake something loose means to get something out of like a jammed situation. In the second example sentence, though, we see shake out. So the second example sentence was shake the dirt out of the rug. It means, again, make a shaking motion to remove dirt from a rug. So it means do this and get the dirt or whatever else is in the rug out. So remove the dirt from the rug by shaking it. So it's to shake something out of something else. Okay, so those are hopefully a few new ways for you to use the verb shake. I hope that you found something new. If you have any questions or comments or would like to try to make an example sentence, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Of course, if you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other good English study resources. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Know Your Verbs, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.